Snowtail's mansion gleamed, rich cat in provinces. Her fur shimmered white as moonlight, and every meal she ate came from porcelain plates imported from across the sea. Lobster pâté, steamed tuna wrapped in seaweed lace, and cheeses aged in underground vaults. Working quietly in the shadows of that vast house was Marla Whiskers, a thin brown tabby with tired eyes and soft paws calloused from scrubbing marble floors. Marla was a widow and the mother of 3 small kittens, Tilly, Nibbles, and Sprout, who lived far across town in a drafty shack made from discarded crates. Every morning before sunrise, Marla left them curled together under a tattered blanket and hurried to the mansion for work. After each extravagant lunch, Bellatrice would dab her mouth daintily with a silk napkin, then leave the table without looking back. Most days, half the meal remained untouched: crumbs of lavender cream bread, bits of poached fish, flakes of pastry crust. Marla, whose stomach often growled in silence, would gather the leftovers carefully, her paws trembling with guilt and desperation. She wrapped the bits in napkins and tucked them deep into her work satchel. She never dared taste any of it. Instead, when the sun sank below the low rooftops, she would leave the mansion and hurry home, stepping over puddles and broken cobblestones. As soon as she reached the shack, her kittens bolted out with bright eyes and hollow bellies. Marla would unwrap the food like treasure. Tilly licked the fish skins clean. Nibbles nibbled true to her name on the crumbs with delight. Sprout chewed even the crust with a purr. Marla would sit nearby, too hungry to swallow but too grateful to cry. This went on for weeks. And though Bellatrice rarely paid attention to servants, she began to notice the quantity of food vanishing each day. One afternoon, she pretended to leave for her garden, but instead hid behind a carved wooden screen. She watched Marla collect the remains of her luncheon, small bits of seasoned trout and slivers of cheese, and conceal them with shaking paws. Fury sparked in Bellatrice's chest. In her world, theft, no matter how small, was insolence. She followed Marla at a distance that evening, her jeweled collar glinting in the alleyway lanterns. The further they went, the narrower the streets became. At last, they reached the battered crate house. Bellatrice crouched behind a broken barrel, expecting to witness gluttony or resale. Instead, she saw 3 frail kittens scramble out, mewing with joy. Marla knelt and opened her napkin bundles. She gave every crumb to the children without taking even a nibble for herself. The kittens devoured the food with gratitude that made their tiny paws tremble. Bellatrice's anger slowly melted into astonishment, then shame. She had imagined defiance, but found only devotion. Yet she didn't step forward that night. The next morning, Marla arrived for work with fear curled in her stomach, sensing something had changed. Bellatrice summoned her to the sitting room, her tone cold but controlled. "I know about the food," she said simply. Marla's legs nearly gave out. "Please, my lady, I only took what you wouldn't finish. My children, I followed you." Those words felt like a sentence. Marla lowered her head. "If you dismiss me, we will starve." Bellatrice was silent a moment, then said, "Bring your children here tonight." Marla's breath caught. She didn't know if this meant punishment or mercy, but she nodded and returned at dusk with Tilly, Nibbles, and Sprout huddled at her side. To Marla's surprise, a smaller dining room had been prepared. There were cushions, bowls of warm milk, and plates piled with proper meals. The kittens stared, stunned. Bellatrice spoke softly but firmly. "I will not have my scraps stolen. Instead, your children will eat at my table. They will attend school. They will not grow in hunger and dust." Marla could only whisper thanks, tears streaking her fur. Over the years, Tilly became a skilled designer of feline clothing, Nibbles opened a bakery famous for buttered fish rolls, and Sprout studied engineering and built safe homes for alley families. They prospered, remembered where they came from, and honored their mother's struggle. Bellatrice, once blind to the world beyond velvet curtains, found joy in watching them thrive. And Marla, though she still worked with humble paws, no longer carried crumbs in secret, only pride.